Okay, so I am back. So I went through my book and I counted out 26 pages front and back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. And I counted 26 and I put a clip, and I counted another 26 and I put a clip and another 26 and I put a clip until I got to this very last section, and here I only had 18 pages left. Well, that is perfectly fine with me. It doesn't have to be exact. It can be give or take, or maybe I miscounted in here somewhere because I kind of went quickly, and that's okay. And as we can see from my calculator too, it was I think 26 and rounded up. So do I have 31 pages? I think I actually have 32 pages. So I'm going to go ahead and go through here and go ahead and number my pages. And I'm going to mark this because I don't want to rip this first page out. I'm going to call this 1. And I'm not counting this front one here. You could if you like. I'm not. Again, it's your book. Do it how you like. So I did not count this as my first one because they're kind of these two, title pages, if you will. So I'm going to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not getting like up at the top, so I don't want any of my scribbling to show through in case I were to get too close to the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. And then the back side of this basically leaves 32, but maybe I want to make this my signature page or something like that. And then again here, this is kind of like the back cover, if you will. So I basically have 32, so I definitely have 31 pages to create my Halloween book. Now again, this is my second one. I've already started my Halloween one where I thought my process was extremely confusing, so I wanted to come back on and share it again. All right, so I have got all of these sections, and let's see, what did I tell us? We had 1 page through 408, and let's see, let me count each of these sections. There's where the paper clips are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I basically have 16 of these areas clipped together. So 408 divided by 16 leaves me 25.5. So I basically have, the math shows, I have about 26 pages in each of these little sections. So for me, I need the math. Some folks do it a different way and they don't need the math. So I don't know if it makes it more confusing or not, but I like knowing where I'm going. All right, so as we already saw, I glued those 2 pages together and these 2 pages together, and I'm going to go ahead and clip them out of my way because again, those are our cover pages. All right, so as I said, I want to take our front page and our back page, and I do not want to rip those out. And this is the back side of this front page that I don't want to rip out, and I have ripped out pages before that I don't want to rip out, so I am fail-safing myself putting this X, which again is going to be covered up and I'm not going to see it. So to alter a book, I need to remove pages so that I can add my decorations and my scrapbook paper. It will basically fill up that space that we're taking out and sometimes get chunkier. And in my case, they generally get chunkier. So if you need to account for that, and you can also make as many pages as you want in your book. Again, I'm using the rule of thumb for October, 31 pages, why I'm 31 days, 31 pages. Okay, so I'm not going to rip that out. I'm going to start ripping from this, and sometimes pages rip easier than others. That first one started off well, so I think This is feeling good. And I don't have to worry about the messiness inside. I do want to probably rip them as close as I can to the inside, but I don't have to worry about that because it's going to be inside of my glued pages. Now, I have seen others where I think when Jan did it, they actually left this, and then they would maybe try to cover it with washi tape, like these pages would be glued and then this portion would be here, and then they started here. I didn't like that look. I like the messiness being glued inside of my pages. So again, it's your preference, your book, however you want to do it, and there are many ways of doing an altered book. So, and then again, I'm just showing you the process of how it works for me. All right, so I've ripped out all the pages in between my front page and my back page here. Now, we can do one of two things now. So once we have an altered book, we can decide if we want to have pockets in our, make pockets inside of our pages. So I could glue here and here, and then not glue here so I can make it a pocket. Or I can glue here and up here and make a top pocket from the top where I can add tags or different things into my book. When I first made my very first Halloween altered book, and I did an altered book for Halloween and Christmas, and I will leave both of those videos linked below, my full kind of flip through. They weren't how I created them, but they were just my full flip throughs when I got done. Well, when I made my first Halloween one, I forgot that I wanted to make pockets, and I actually glued all of my pages together. When I did my Christmas book, I did an altered one, and I remembered, hey, don't do that again this time. You want to make your pockets. So then on that book, I made the pockets out of the pages. So I either, did a top or a side pocket. And I think in that one, I think I kind of did every other. And then if I didn't want to do a pocket, then I went ahead and glued it shut. Well, I found when I did the Christmas book, and partly I think because it was an older book, I felt like the pages were a lot thinner in here. And so, and how I got around that when I did my Halloween book. So let's see, let me grab a piece of paper here. So here's a piece of scrapbook paper. What I did, what I could do, well, I'm just gonna fold this maybe so you can kind of get the idea. I don't want to get confusing because this is my second book. I don't want to do a third book. So you can see. So imagine this is just one page. So I can, this is my scrapbook paper here. So if I want to go ahead and glue these completely together, but maybe I can lay this scrapbook paper on here and make my pocket from the scrapbook and the book page and not make my pocket out of the book pages. Does that make sense? So I think in this case, I'm going to make my pockets with scrapbook paper. So here, I would only glue it at the top and the bottom, or down the side and the bottom to make a top. So I have decided I didn't like those thinner pages on my December Christmas book. So I'm going to make my pages this time with my scrapbook paper. So all that to say is I'm actually going to glue all of my pages together. If you want to make pockets with your book pages, glue them in a pocket fashion. Don't glue them all together. So that being said, let us go ahead and glue. And I already said I'm using my Fabrifix tonight just because. I feel like with the acetone base, it's not as watery based, and I don't maybe get as much crinkling. So I go back and forth with my glues, but my favorite glues are the Fabri-Tac and Art Glitter Glue. I think they're fabulous, and both I think are great for this. So I have went ahead and glued those two pages together. And again, as we glue our pages, make sure that they're coming evenly, because the way this book lays, one page can get shorter. So always make sure that we've got them together and that they kind of dry, that they lay nicely in our book. So we've just done that. I'm going to remove this next clip, and let's go ahead and mark our pages fail-safe Dawn, that's what we need to do. I'm not going to rip that one out. And this is the back side of that page. And then this is the back one, page 4. I don't want to rip that out, and I don't want to rip that out. Okay, so page 1. Let me move this ruler. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm bumping the phone. Okay. All right, let us rip these out, and I'm not going to go through this book, but I'm just going to get started so that you can craft along if you like to my process. So let's rip. This will be our second set of pages, I guess, if you will. All right, getting messier as I'm ripping. And sometimes it gets a little tougher as you go along to rip them out. Again, it depends on the book and how it is bound and the age of the book. And again, I'm going to be gluing these together, so I don't have to worry too much about the mess, but I can come back in and kind of, clean that up a little bit. But again, I'm not too worried about it. Okay. See my X. All right, so here is my page 3 and my page 4. So let's go ahead and glue these together. Do I want to make this? No, you know what? I'm gonna, I think, leave that section in. I'm not gonna worry about getting those extra bits out. I don't think I need to. If it bothers you, make it a little cleaner. Just make sure you don't mess up the integrity of the book where you're ripping it out and kind of pulling on the spine. Okay. So, and that is going to lie over. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time if you don't want to watch this part. And I want to make sure that this lies nicely. See right here, I feel like I've got a little bit, see my page has slipped a little bit on me. I can fix this. If I couldn't fix it, I would be okay with it because I know I would be covering it, but I want to make sure that these lie evenly and that these 2 pages are as close in length as possible, because the way it was laying, I was getting a crease here, and as we kind of recreate these, it kind of we're changing the shape of the book and the way it's lying. So you just kind of need to be careful that it lies well. Yep, because it's kind of just bubbling right there a little bit on me, but when we add the scrapbook paper, it will feel okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this on one more section. So this is where I don't want to rip out. And I've kind of got a little bit of glue, I think, on these other pages. I'm not ripping that page out. Here's my last one. And again, if you do end up ripping out a page that you did not mean to, because I have done that, that's why I'm being so careful, trying to be so careful, not saying it's not going to happen in this one, but you can just go ahead and grab a page from the other, because as much as I am being particular about the number of pages where I figured it out beforehand, some folks are less particular about it, and it's kind of a give or take. It does not have to be perfect in that situation. So, give or take. And then I'm going to continue to do this whole process throughout the book. And then once I get finished, I guess since I have started this process on showing you how I'm doing an altered book, I'm going to come back and do each section. And like I said, when I first started it, it was very confusing because I had really already started to clip my pages on my first book, and I kind of had already figured it out. And then when I went back and tried to explain it, it was really confusing. All right, so, and I'm gonna see if I can rip a little more of this out. You know what? Nope, because I feel like it's gonna mess up. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that. I'm gonna go ahead and glue my pages together. I'm very excited to finally get to start this process, and I am going to use the Pastel Halloween mostly in this book. I got that Michael's Pinkaboo, which I have a pad, and then I also won one from Persian Glitter Princess Soraya, and I linked her channel in my last video winning that. She does she's so sweet. She does giveaways and great project shares and haul videos. So I was so thrilled to have won a second Peekaboo with that, because I wanted to use this in the book. And then I have a couple of other Halloween themed papers that I might want to use in here, and so I will see. Okay, so I've kind of done that now on 3 sections. I've ripped out all the pages in between my front and my back, and I am going to continue. So not sure when I'll be back to show the next section, but I'm actually going to go ahead and stop in this book, because really this is the one I used to show you. This is the one I already got started in, which again is my Secret of Magic. This one is actually going to be my Halloween book, but I wanted to come back and show you it's roughly the same amount of pages as this one, so it was easiest to use that and go on. So in this book here, I've got up to my 12 and 13 pages glued together, and I'm just going to keep going through each section. Look, I lost a clip on this one, but you can use post-it notes, paper clips, whatever works for you. Sometimes watch out your paper clips if they have one of those rough edges on there. I know I've had some paper clips that had rougher edges, and I kind of kept ripping my paper. But these ones here seem to be in pretty good shape, and I've attached them here from the side, do the top, whatever works for you. So again, so I'm going to be back at some point, and once we have got all of our pages ripped out, the unwanted pages and the pages we want to keep glued together. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you've got questions, I'm going to do my best to answer them, and feel free to look up other altered book processes. If this one doesn't work for you, again, this is just my method, which I basically got from Crafty Irina. It's been quite a long time since I've watched her videos, so I don't know if I'm doing exactly the same thing or not. So anyways, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Would love to have a new crafty friend. And until next time.